Chapter 2, Grade 7 Martial Spirits. A Grade 10 Martial Spirits, it turned out to be a Grade 10 Martial Spirits. A Grade 10 Martial Spirits are a rare sight, not only in Kanglan County but the entire kingdom. Huang Ming looked the three-eyed floating black tiger behind his son, both of his fists are clenched, but he could barely contain his excitement that his body trembled a little. Huang Kai's laughter continued to reverberate in the hall for a long period. He did not expect his impromptu visit to the martial temple would give him such a huge surprise. Good, good, good. Huang Kai repeated 3 times the word good while laughing. Inhaling deeply, he gathered himself as he tried to suppress the excitement in his heart. His eyes are full of joy as he gazed lovingly at the grandson with Grade 10 martial spirits. He believes with the future support and dedication of the Huang clan manor and practice his grandson, Huang Wei surely will surpass him and achieve the realm that he could only dream of, but yet to achieve. At this moment, Huang Peng walked towards Huang Ming to offer his congratulations. Congratulations, big brother. Huang Ming looked at the sincere face of Huang Peng, patted Huang Peng's shoulders, smiled and said, "Thank you, second brother. Let's wait a while. Xiaolong has yet to awaken his martial spirits, there is a chance that he too might possess Grade 10 martial spirits." However, for those who heard this understood that these are words of comfort, Grade 10 martial spirits is not something easily obtained. In the big hall, Huang clan manor elders and some housekeepers busy congratulating Huang Min. "Wire, come here." At this time, Huang Kai at the center of the hall laughed as he waved at Huang Wei. "Yes, grandfather," Huang Wei replied. As he passed in front of Huang Xiaolong, before arriving at Huang Kai's side, Huang Wei's eyes inadvertently swept past Huang Xiaolong, looking complacent and arrogant that was unnoticed by others, however, did not escape Huang Xiaolong's notice. Grade 10 martial spirits. Huang Xiaolong calmly looked back at him. Although Huang Wei is his cousin, they are not close. 2 years ago, Huang Wei and several elders' children were bullying his sister Huang Min, coincidentally they ran into Huang Xiaolong. Thus the consequence needs no explanation. Huang Wei and the several elders' children were beaten up miserably, and ever since then Huang Wei has held a grudge. As Huang Wei stopped in front Huang Kai reached out a hand and patted Huang Wei's head, smiling and eyes full of love. Laughingly he turned to Huang Ming and said, "Huang Ming, you did a good job of giving birth to a good grandson." On the other end, listening to his father's praise, Huang Ming felt a little embarrassed. "Dad, don't you think we should first continue the awakening ceremony?" Huang Kai nodded in agreement as this is not the proper time to discuss this matter. Smiling amicably, he said, "Right, let's continue with the awakening ceremony." After Huang Wei, it is Huang Xiaolong's turn to awaken his martial spirits. As Huang Kai's voice fell, the elders, housekeepers and disciples could not help but turned and looked at Huang Xiaolong. Huang Wei is Huang Kai's grandson, possessing Grade 10 martial spirits, then what about Huang Xiaolong? With the crowd watching, Huang Xiaolong stepped calmly into the hexagonal pattern beam of light. Huang Peng and Su Yan could not help but hold each other's hand, with rapid heartbeats and nervous eyes watching their son as Huang Xiaolong stepped into the hexagonal light beam. Huang Xiaolong did not stay long within the light of beam, just like Huang Wei, a black light appeared around Huang Xiaolong's body. Seeing this scene the crowd stared blankly, then a blue-colored light suddenly appeared next to the black one, constantly flickering, giving a devilish feeling. Subsequently, shadows of a black and a blue figure appeared behind Huang Xiaolong's head. Everyone saw a serpent-like figure with 2 heads emerging, one with a black head, the other a blue head. Everyone looked at each other. Double-headed serpent martial spirit. Huang Kai looked at the martial spirits behind Xiaolong, his puzzled eyes tinted with a trace of disappointment. In his opinion, this grandson's martial spirit is but a variation of the double-headed serpent martial spirits. Some Huang clan manor disciples also possess variation martial spirits, thus variations are not uncommon. A Grade 7 double-headed serpent though is categorized as high-grade martial spirits, but when compared to Huang Wei, the difference is like between heaven and earth. Huang Peng and Su Yan looked at the martial spirits hovering behind their son, his expression differs not from Huang Kai. Although compared to most of the other Huang clan manor disciples, a Grade 7 martial spirit's talent is considered high, Huang Peng too is slightly disappointed. Which parents do not wish the best for their children? Old manor lord, what do you think? Housekeeper Chen Ying couldn't help but refer to Huang Kai. Huang Kai said, "A variation of the double-headed serpent, Grade 7 martial spirits." All elders and stewards present in the temple hall nodded their heads, apparently agree with the old manor lord's judgment. Grade 7 Martial Spirits, a variation of the double-headed serpent. Huang Xiaolong stepped out from the hexagonal patterned beam with his calm face, only he knew that his martial spirits are not as simple as a variation of the double-headed serpent. Seeing Huang Xiaolong's martial spirits is only a grade 7 variant double-headed serpent, Huang Wei's mouth curved into a sneer, his eyes challenging as they looked towards Huang Xiaolong. Huang Xiaolong naturally noticed Huang Wei's provoking eyes, but he is nonchalant about it, for he is too lazy to play a staring game with a little kid. The child after Huang Xiaolong is elder Zhou Guang's son, Zhou Zudong. Zhou Zudong is one of the Huang clan manor disciples that Huang Xiaolong beat up for bullying Huang Min. Shortly Zhou Shuidong's martial spirits were awakened, grade 6 martial spirits, the Blood Eyes Wolf. One by one, more than a dozen of the Huang clan manor's children stepped into the light beam to awaken their martial spirits, most of them possesses grade 4 spirits, some 5 and even grade 6. There were a few waste martial spirits and a couple of low-level ones. This round's martial spirits awakening ceremony, though Huang Xiaolong's martial spirits came in second, there were not much difference as he and the rest of the Huang clan manor children were just a sideshow, overshadowed by Huang Wei's grade 10 martial spirits. After the awakening ceremony had ended, Huang Kai smiled and said to Huang Ming, Huang Peng, and the present elders, I will personally be advising Huang Wei's practice in the future. Personally advise. Everyone is astonished. Yes, Dad. Huang Ming face bloomed, agreeing immediately. Huang Peng, hearing his father is planning to oversee Huang Wei's practice personally, his heart sighed as he glanced at his own son. After a while, the crowd dispersed, and the martial temple is closed. Returning to the eastern courtyard, Su Yan's heart was brimming with dissatisfaction. How could Dad show such favoritism? He wants to oversee Huang Wei's practice personally. What about our Xiaolong? Is Xiaolong not his grandson? Huang Peng frowned and waved his hand and said aloud, don't mention it anymore. No one is allowed to bring up this matter in the future. However, in his heart, he too felt aggrieved, but with Huang Wei's grade 10 martial spirits, it's granted that his father wants to pinpoint Huang Wei's practice personally. Xiaolong, your talent is also good, put more effort into your practice. Becoming an 8th order warrior is not difficult for you. Huang Peng turned towards Huang Xiaolong and said, I understand, Dad. Huang Xiaolong opened, mouth wanting to tell Huang Peng and Su Yan that his martial spirits shouldn't be a grade 7, but in the end, he could only reply as such, and saying nothing more. After a while, Huang Peng gave Huang Xiaolong an exercise law for training battle qi and began explaining the important points that Huang Xiaolong should focus on during practice. Huang Xiaolong memorized them in his heart. After leaving the eastern courtyard's hall, Huang Xiaolong returned to his small courtyard and began practicing his battle qi according to the exercise law that his father gave to him. He sat down and started absorbing the world's spiritual energy according to the first layer instruction. As Huang Xiaolong operates the exercise law, his martial spirits floated out of his body, the variant double-headed serpent emerged behind Huang Xiaolong. The grade 7 double-headed serpent in Huang Kai's eyes suddenly stretched its jaw wide open, devouring the surrounding spiritual energy with horrifying speed. That spiritual energy began to converge rapidly. The spiritual energy devoured by the double-headed serpent flows into Huang Xiaolong's body, flowing along the meridians, and gradually transforming into battle qi. Night slowly approaches, the moonlight shone in from the small courtyard window. Moments later, Huang Xiaolong opened his eyes, but his face wore an extremely weird expression. Earlier, he followed the instructions from the exercise law his father gave him, Zanqin exercise law's first layer, to condense his battle qi by running spiritual energy along the meridians, and he managed to direct the flow of spiritual energy for one complete turn without obstacles or difficulties. Within these few hours, not only did he successfully converted spiritual energy into battle qi, he broke through to first order warrior. Huang Xiaolong's heart is filled with a sense of absurdity. He remembered his father had said, his grandfather spent nearly 6 months before successfully break through first order warrior. His grandfather, Huang Kai's martial spirit is one of the top grade 8 martial spirits, the 6-winged golden ape.